Well, good morning to both of you. Reuben and I from iFinance Mortgage, we welcome you, Katy O'Neil, the real estate lady, as your Instagram handle shows, and with Coldwell Banker at office there in Flower Mound, serving the Dallas-Fort Worth area and the great state of Texas. Did I get that right?
Got it right.
Fantastic. Well, we're so glad to have you with us today. The purpose of this podcast, it's entitled The Mindset of a Champion, What Sets You Apart? And really the reason behind starting this podcast is to feature our hardworking realtors like yourself. You're out there grinding every single day, helping families and finding that American dream of home ownership for them. And recognition is due. And we want to broadcast that to everybody and share all the good things that you're doing. So to launch right into it, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into real estate and tell us the story?
Well, um, I've always been involved with kind of real estate per se. And I mean, my parents bought their property in 1972, and their dream was to buy an old house and move it out there because at that time, that's what people did. And so it's kind of like the Chip and Joanna Gaines. They're not moving houses, they're going and, fixing up houses. Back then, when they were building these big cities and they were getting all these older houses out of the cities, that was kind of a thing, a trend. And so my parents jumped on that bandwagon. And so they had torn down an old post office and gotten the wood out of that. And we searched, and I used to go with my mom and search for those houses in Austin, Texas, and sit and play with my dolls while she looked at the house to see if it was. And so I listened a lot, and I listened to how they salespeople were selling, and just and then we ended up finding a house out in the country, an old farmhouse that they had to roll down the hill on telephone posts to get it to the truck.
Oh, wow.
Take off the top floor. It was a half floor. It was an A, like it went like that, but
Hmm.
it wasn't an A-frame like that. But you couldn't stand up on the sides. You could stand up in the middle. But that part off, kept the old original staircase, and the truck broke down two times getting it to our property. Um, but we got it there, and we got the roof there, the other part, and then we had built a house down the hill when we first bought the land and moved it up. Process. And then going down to Laredo and getting tile and this and that and getting workers and just having redoing that old wood and just what goes into home building, and then also knowing the quality of woods and products and things. And um, so it's always been something I've loved to do and I've been fascinated with. And then when I was a stay-at-home mom, I kind of did flipping before it was cool, but I only did it so I could stay home. And we didn't really have MLS and internet.
Right.
We were beginning of it. And so I would like take my kids to school, go play tennis, kind of drive around, had baby in the car sleeping, and looking at neighborhoods near where the school, my kids went to private school, and where their school was, or where I played tennis, and just kind of finding the good deal and seeing what I could find on the internet. I mean, primitive, very primitive,
Right.
licensed. And so I did that, and I would convince my husband to let us buy that house and let me fix it up because I'm crafty. And we would live in it for the 2 years, and
Hmm.
we would I would sell it really good, right? And then I'd find another one, and I got to live on that and, have my kids in school and play my tennis and do that. And so one day I was helping people do that, helping friends, because they're like, that's kind of cool what you do. And I'm like, yeah, really? You think I'm cool? Okay. And
Wait,
so
but say that again. I didn't hear it.
I'm cool. And so I said, okay, well, what if I started doing this for people? Like, and that's when I said, I'm going to go ahead and get licensed. And so got licensed, and here I am.
Wow. So that was,
Yeah.
did you say you've been in the business about 14 years or okay,
Yeah, licensed. I've been,
licensed,
yeah, but I've been,
doing the business longer?
so, um, and I do, I mean, being licensed has been much better because I have access to a lot more things. I have a lot of standards I have to, not that I don't, I have to, but there's a lot of standards and things that we do to be licensed, to keep our license, a lot of things we pay for, a lot of ethical classes that we take, and, just my continuing education in the business has just been, I mean, I love it. I love to learn because if I'm going to go up against somebody, I want to know what I'm talking about. If you're going to talk,
Absolutely.
I'm going to be able to talk to you back. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, education is great because one of the things we find in Texas is that it's stricter than most other states. So when you come out here, if you have a license somewhere else, it's not accepted here. And that's one of the great things. And continuing to learn. If you stop learning, then how are you going to grow? And I love what you said because it goes back to the mindset of a champion. Is that by you taking classes and improving yourself, you're only making yourself not only better for yourself, but for your clients. And that's
It's
something I'm
a
sure they
job.
appreciate. And that's really what it's all about, isn't it?
Yes, it's my job to be the professional and to know. And I mean, come on, we're not going to know everything, but we know where to find the answer and who to go to. And we have lawyers behind, I was licensed in another state, in Georgia, and
Okay.
they're a lawyer state, we're a title state. I will
Right.
say it's much funner in Texas to practice real estate. Such a good time. What I do love about Texas, and maybe I didn't, COVID when I lived in Georgia, it was during COVID times. It's all kind of weird. But, one thing about Texas that I love, and I love I love Texas because of how friendly they are to businesses
Mhm.
and the customer and people, its citizens. Like our Trek, the real estate commission, it's all about the consumer. My fiduciary responsibility is to the consumer, my client, not me. And
Mhm.
I love the way that our contracts are written and rewritten and always looking to strive better for the consumer. And that is what I love about Texas and Texas real estate. It's always with the consumer. I'm a consumer. I want to be protected, don't you?
Sure.
Knowing that your state's behind you and there's no funny business. And if there is, we're going to catch it.
Transparency.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, so Katie, could you tell us a little bit about your market in your area? Tell us how's it going there right now?
It's going good. You got to price it right. And you got to have it, your price has to match up with the condition and the location. I mean, because 6 months ago, your neighbor's house sold for $50,000 more than what your house is actually worth.
Mm.
You'd be surprised how many people don't understand about condition of property, current conditions, market conditions that you can't control, but you can control the condition of your home and the condition when you show it. If you leave stuff out, if your house smells like fish, you know,
Yeah.
all these things matter when you're selling a house. It's hard to sell a house when you're living there with a bunch of kids, but
Yeah.
you've got to get everybody in line and make those beds, and it needs to look like, you know, um, and also you'd be surprised about like people not knowing what people's square footage is. Like, oh, that house sold for, $400,000. Well, it's 4,000 square feet. Your house is 2,500 square feet. You're not gonna get that much for your house, even if you have, clean floors and everything, just there's factors into everything. And so like our market, we're down a little bit. Like, I mean, I printed off like all of our stats and stuff. And I mean, the median price is down in, I mean, we have like four major counties that we deal with. It's Dallas, Denton, Tarrant, and what's the other one? Dallas and Collin.
Oh,
And like all of them except, I mean, I can't believe this one. Of all of the counties that we have, Dallas is my least favorite. They're up. Their median price is up 0.9%. I mean, everybody else is down a little bit, not much. But the active listings, our sales, the closed sales are up. And if you look at like the our monthly inventory, I mean, it still shows that we're in a seller's market, but sellers beware. We're not really that much in a seller's market.
hmm.
More of a buyer's market, if you ask me. And it needed to be because we got out of control. I mean, you know, Reuben, do you agree with me?
Yes. Oh, 100%. Because really, the way it was really an unhealthy market. And when
Yeah,
people were overpaying and doing what they did, it's really not healthy at all. And so I think now what you're saying is basically we really come into a maybe more balanced market that makes a little
corrections.
bit
Yeah,
more sense. So yeah, so it's not that real estate's losing, it's correcting to where it needs to be,
yeah,
because like a rocket ship, it can't just keep going up forever. It's going to run out of fuel. So that creates a problem with affordability, which is I'm sure you're seeing that as well. That it's tougher for people in those markets.
Yeah. And we've got, like in my town, our average home is like $700,000. Like, I guess we won't be having any first-time home buyers in Flower Mound, Texas. I mean, there are some houses, but I mean, it balances out. That's an average. But like, that's a lot. And when you
It
factor
is.
that is.
taxes and the insurance has gotten really high. And
Yes.
people need to look at that too, because you used to be able to pay a little deductible and get a new roof. Now, I mean, you might be paying 2% on that $25,000 roof. I mean, you're still paying a lot of money to get a roof. And if you know anything about Texas, I mean, we've got, or not so much Texas, but this area, I mean, the things that you need to maintain, your roof, your tile,
Hmm.
your foundation. Those three things right there. And I don't know what I've lived in Austin, I've lived in Georgia. We didn't have to maintain the roofs in Georgia. Here, we have all the elements. I mean, it's 35, it froze last night. I don't really know.
Wow.
I haven't gone out to look to see if there's ice, but we were supposed to have hit 32 last night. It was 80. What was it last week? I mean, it's hot.
Yeah, contrast.
We have, when it
Yeah.
rains up here, it rains like it's buckets on top of you. I mean, we
Mhm.
have hail, we have snow, we have it all. We have ice, and then we have heat. And so, your roof and tires, all of that. I mean, it. So if you think that we had hail, and I just got a new roof, and I paid all this money, you might have it again soon. You know, it's it's a
And that's
thing.
why the insurance companies are really cracking down. I mean, uh, even in California, they've left California. They're like, we're not insuring over there. You got too many fires, too many mudslides, too much earthquake, whatever. We're out.
Yeah.
And I've been hearing very similar to Texas. Those that are insuring are, the premiums have gone up a
Mhm.
lot, and so that's understandable. But what's interesting is you spoke, Ruben. You mentioned mindset of a champion again, and I like this next question that we'll ask because it really now gets to an opportunity where you can share what you do just a little bit different to service your clients, what helps you stand out. And so the question is, what does having the mindset of a champion mean to you? And more importantly, how does it impact your daily routine?
You asking me or him?
Yeah, you. I know what Rubens is.
Um, Well, having the mindset of a champion. I mean, I'm a tennis player,
Ah,
and I've grown up playing tennis since I've been 4 or 5 years old. I can't remember my first lesson was, but you know, that sport will teach you everything you need to know about business and life. You're going to have your
mm,
ups and downs, and you're going to know. I always say, I want to have a beer with you after I beat you.
right.
I want I want you to make me beat you. I want to have that challenge. I want to be challenged. I don't want to beat somebody that I'm supposed to beat. Like,
Yeah.
I want to beat somebody that I'm not supposed to beat. So let's go.
Hmm.
And I want to be able to think fast, think level-headed, and think under pressure and go down the line on you on match point.
Love it.
And I want to go, come on. So how do I do that to get ready for a match? And that's kind of how I go with my whole life. I mean, I got to have my coffee in the morning. I got to have my, little spiritual time in the morning,
Hmm.
get my exercise in. If I don't do those things, I'm just a little off for that day. I might run into the wall. I might hang out with a client on accident. I mean, like things, those things, but the mindset of fairness, sportsmanship, like, yeah, I want that ball to be out, but I can't say it. It's in. I want it out, but I have to, really go to myself and go, what's morally right?
Hmm.
So, because I'm going to sleep with myself at night. That's
Yeah.
my champion. And it is being able to say, I'm going to do what's right and I'm going to win. And I'm going to have to work a little bit harder because I'm still going to keep my morals about, I'm going to do what is right instead of taking the easy way out and saying and cheating.
Yeah,
And
I love that.
that's beautiful because really, if you're a real estate agent, you're there to protect your client. If you're willing to go in and fight for them and help them at the same time without cheating or without, doing something illegal, that is great because that's the most important thing is that you're there to fight for your client. So what I'm hearing is that your mindset is that you just talked about that you try to learn more and you're educating yourself and doing all that. So really you're constantly improving yourself and that is super commendable because most people when they get into this industry of real estate, they just stop. They stop learning. Well, how can you get better? When you look at champions, whether it was Kobe or anyone else, that they would go out and practice, 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 and you can only get better if you keep practicing. I love what you just said. That's awesome.
I love that you pointed that out because I've been taking, um, I, I've been taking private lessons for my tennis, and it goes back to the tennis thing. And I had a friend, a colleague, a fellow real estate agent, who doesn't play tennis, or she exercises, but she doesn't do a lot of sports like competitive. And she's like, I thought you've been playing your whole life. Like, why are you taking a lesson? Like, what? I mean, like, because like it changes. If there's wind, if there's, sun,
Right.
I mean, and you've got to know how to master your spins and, placement and strategy. And also like what's working for you and being able to recognize, well, that shot's not working. I got this other shot, and so the always bettering and always learning is key to life and real estate. Because I mean, look, it's changing day to day. It
Sure
neighborhood,
is.
like town to town. You have to know and you have to be able to adjust and know it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's
One thing
absolutely
I,
true because I'm sorry, Don. I mean, the whole thing is the one constant is change. That's the one constant that we always have. And that leads me to another question. You talked about that. This past year for most realtors has been a really tough year. Brian Buffini, who's a great trainer, talked
Mhm.
about that we hit bottom a couple of months ago as I was listening to him. So when there's challenging times and with the mindset that you have, what pivots and what changes have you done for your business to keep it, going forward?
Well, one, I'm redoing some marketing things and branding and that kind of thing. Me being, not fresh out of college, this social media thing is a little challenging.
Mhm.
I'm
It
It
can be
is.
for sure.
So yeah, that I'm having to embrace that. I'm having to embrace AI, worry about AI because, I feel like it's gonna, I'm sorry, AI, if you're listening, but I mean, I dumb down a lot of people. Like we need to be able to think. We need to be able to look at you and say, what is it? What's your big why? Give me five, let's talk. And I need to ask the questions, help them understand their big why. They might not know, because that is going to help me find the perfect house. Like I can just go show you houses that look good online, but then what about the train track behind it or
Mhm.
they're about to build a motorway or something. I don't know. Like there's a lot of things that go into like, you know, find and listening to people. Like what, my gosh, they don't mind the highway noise, but they mind the airplanes. So
Mhm.
like what you gonna do? Like the house is beautiful. They don't know because they don't know the area, but we are supposed to know. So yeah, that's I don't know, just
Those are good things. And
Absolutely.
you mentioned social media. That resonates with me too, because my wife's like, "Oh my gosh, you're all over social media now." And I go, "You know what? If you go back just a couple years, I hated it. It's
yeah,
like I saw it as a necessary evil." And that's what my mind focused on, was the evil part. And finally, after I embraced it and said, "Okay, let me learn some things first." But most importantly, I had to learn, why am I doing it? Why am I doing and using social media? And once I came to understand its purpose, and to, cast a wider net, visibility, so people can see what you do, and, let them feel what you do as well, through, the human touch, and
yeah,
being real, you know, it was good. I feel more comfortable with it. And then we started podcast and thought, okay, this is great too. And it just I heard a phrase the other day, and Reuben, you probably heard it too, um, from billionaire owner CEO of UWM, United Wholesale Mortgage, who also owns the Phoenix Suns. He says, he was asked, "Will AI take my business away from me or put me out of business?" He says, "No, but the people using AI will." And I
yeah.
thought, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's where my mindset is right now, is trying to embrace it,
Mhm.
looking to others who have embraced it. How are they using it effectively? And so I'm a
Effect-
work in progress.
Effectively is key because I've had people spit things out to me that AI said, and I'm like, wait a minute, why'd I hire you? I can do
Right?
put them
Yeah.
in. Hiring you to listen to me, and if you want to put it in AI to figure out what it might give you some, you still have to think for yourself. But it does make things go a lot faster. But I mean, like, I don't know.
Well, AI really is just a tool. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
everything, social media is a tool. And one of my mentors always said everything counts. So the idea is you can use it for what you want, but really when you get in front of a person and you talk to them and you really dig down, that's really what it's about. And with your experiences, you're talking to someone and you're asking questions. You can also read them too, because their first answer is usually not the real answer. So in aerospace, they call it the five whys, and you go, why is this? And then you get to that, and you go, well, why is that? And you go down further. So you're peeling back the layers of the onion to truly find out what a person wants. AI doesn't really understand that just yet. But the most important thing is you're there to help them. It can't convey your facial expressions, tonality, and do all that.
Mhm.
So I find that it's a great tool. Social media is a great tool. Everything are tools in our tool chest. But the most important thing that you can't get away from is the human to human contact and talking to someone and really truly showing apathy and empathy and trying to understand what they're at. And see, that's where I see where you have that great ability, and that's probably why you're so successful because you read through that, and by your continuing learning and doing all that, that's what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting too. Um, with with all this social media stuff, I had and I interview quite a few people too. We're bringing on new loan officers, or I'm helping real estate offices recruit, that kind of thing. And one of the questions I always ask them is, um, you know, what are you looking for or what is your goal in your use of social media? Oh
Mhm.
man, I know if I post a bunch of stuff, I'm going to get a ton of business. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's possible. But why don't you set more realistic expectations? And because if you're posting on social media and then you sit back in your chair and just wait for business, you could probably be waiting a long time, if ever. And so it's that mindset of people buy from people. Like Ruben said, like you said, Katie, we want that human touch, especially when you're buying the most expensive thing you'll ever buy, generally, is your home. I want to sit across from Katie and have her hold my hand through the process and answer my questions. Belly to belly is what they say sometimes in business too, right? Face to face, belly to belly. And you can't replace that ever. We will always need that quality in our work.
Yeah. And just the expertise too. I mean, like knowing that like not all lenders are the same. Not
Very
all
true.
are the same. Like there's a difference. And so, you know, it's a, I've go on these
Yeah.
like my gone on leads before that were from like Zillow or whatever. And
Hmm.
it's like I really do feel bad for the consumer because they don't know what they're getting. They
No.
don't know what's going to show up, and so like, and they don't, especially if it's their first time buying a house, it's like they don't really know the importance of having someone who's knowledgeable and staying, because, and staying with that person, like, and who that person puts, you know, my business contacts, people in my industry, they're tried and true. I've tried them personally because I'm a
Hmm. Sure.
consumer, but I'm also, a professional. And so who I align myself with, I mean, if they mess up,
That's your
and
reputation.
yeah, we all have, there's things that come up in this industry. We know that. And it's not always that person that, you know, can be the house, it can be the client, it can be a lot of things, but with the experience when it's time to let someone go. Because, I get feedback on my performance. I get feedback on all of the people that, who I recommend they use throughout the process. And, I want feedback. I need to know for my next client, and I want to keep them knowing that I care enough about them to ask and know that I've been working with this person for a long time, but lately his service has gone down and I can't recommend him anymore. And they trust me to keep my list
Mhm.
accurate. And they call me and call me after the sale for years and, hey, we're going to redo our floors, or hey, we're going to, you know, get some new tile work done, whatever it is. Who do you recommend? Because they know that I've used people, and I have other colleagues and agents that use them also, and so word of mouth goes a long way. And my word of mouth is from my mouth, not
Hmm.
AI that you really don't know if that's a real referral or not.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
true.
And, it comes back to your reputation.
Yeah.
We put a great trust in people. And when a friend of ours says, "Oh, you got to go try this restaurant. It's amazing. You're going to love it." That's usually enough to get us out of our house and go try it. Why? Because we trust that person's judgment. And, on a far grander scale, what you're talking about is so true. You need to make sure that, I mean, you're the quarterback of the whole operation as the agent. You're there meeting, boots on the ground, meeting the buyers, and every step of the way you're orchestrating things. It's like, okay, financing piece, I got my lender. They're going to get you pre-approved, take care of you. That's great. All right. I got to order the inspection. You're the quarterback. You're running the whole show. And the rest of us are just making sure that we uphold your reputation. So we keep a good reputation. But our job is to really make sure that your clients have the best experience possible. So they will go rave about you and say, Katy was amazing. What a champion. She's not only great at tennis, but she's great in real estate. So,
And there's some things like what I've learned in my business is that, I kind of feel like your finance is a lot like your doctor, like there's some things that you don't want people to know about, or not that you don't want, you just hold them more private. And so, like when I work with a lender, like, and I let my clients know, listen, you can tell me anything. I'm not going to discuss with anyone, but there are things that you don't need to tell me that the lender, my lender, your lender, my preferred lender, that's y'all, and you can keep that with that person. I'm not going to pry. He's not going to tell me it's that relationship. All I care about is, are we good?
that's
I'm
exactly right.
was to get us to close and meet all of the deadlines, the contractual dates along the way, and make sure that if a problem arises, I've got an answer or someone I can, recommend that they come in and take a look at everything. And so, you know, I think the inspection, I think I can know everything about that. We're good with that. But sometimes with a lender, that's a private thing, and so
Yeah.
having that trust. Most of the time they tell me everything, not the lender, but my client. They're like,
Yeah.
we trust you like family, like, um, and so, and usually by the time you finish working with a client, they are family. You've gone through a lot of emotions,
Sure
you know,
have.
and being on this side of the transaction well, not the transaction, but like there's a difference between like residential and commercial real estate.
Right. Hmm.
Like, there's emotion over here in this. There's a lot of emotion in residential.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to raise your family, come home after a tough day of work, cook your meals, recharge for the next day of getting out there in the world. It's important. The schools, everything, and commercial. I just need to know, like, is it good for this type of business? Da, 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 how much traffic am I going to get? What, da, 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 um, there's not a lot of emotion in that. And
Yeah,
Hmm.
so,
it's about the numbers for sure. Commercials about the numbers. The the residential side is about how can I make this house a home and
right,
the
Hmm.
memories and all that goes with it. So
right,
yeah, it's a whole different group of people when you're working with that. But there is so much emotion involved in buying a residential property and like you say, everything, it's the schools, it's this, it's that, it's how's the neighborhood and so forth. So there's a lot involved. So you're there holding their hand the whole way, trying to answer questions. So when you have a team, like you say, you have a lender, you have these different people. It's like being a doctor. You might be the general practitioner, but you have specialists that you send them to. And so that's really the idea is that you want to be able to send them to the right specialist that's going to take care of that. So when they come back to you, they go, thank you for sending me there.
hmm,
Yeah,
exactly,
that's so true. And one final question, because we know you're super busy and we have some more families to help too today. Um, we talked about everything that goes into having the mindset of a champion. We talked about the things that set you apart. And, there's a lot of, I know my colleagues, especially during some of these challenging times, some of them left the business. They
Mhm.
just did. Some of them whole shops folded up, especially during COVID times. They could not see a way out. And there wasn't enough pivots or adjustments that they wanted to make or decided to make that could keep them in business. But a lot of it was mindset too. So we get down to it. What advice would you offer to perhaps either new realtors who are just stepping into this and saying, hmm, can I make a go of this? Or even longtime realtors that may be a little stagnant now. Maybe they've been doing the same thing over and over and over, and hmm, the success isn't as great anymore. What advice would you have for these folks to stay successful?
Have your routine. Um, have your be grounded, you know. I mean, you have to live life and be happy, and that's gonna keep you going. But I mean, just all the stuff we've talked about, the education, get out of your house, go back into the
Hmm.
go to the office. We feed on energy. I do. I feel energized. I mean, I can stay home. My husband says I'm a strange cookie because I'm perfectly fine. I have a lot of hobbies that I do. Like, I mean, I have a lot of things that I enjoy doing. And I'm perfectly fine spending time with myself and my dog and walking on trail, but and that helps. But getting out to the office, and I think that's part of what COVID
Hmm.
was. It made us home. Like it's you get out, you get more invigorated. Like so go join the mastermind groups. Go to the office. Go meet clients at a coffee shop.
Hmm.
Take them to lunch, take them to dinner. Go to a happy hour. I mean, get out. Go. Get out. Get around people. God made us. He created us. We are to be in community with one another. That is, look, when you're in community with people, you're making connections, whether it be a friendship, you learn from everybody, um, and you help people. But they also everyone has friends that need a real estate agent or a lender or this or that, whatever it is that you're doing, just get out there. Talk about what you do, show your passion. I'm passionate about real estate. I'm passionate about my family, my cat, my dog. I mean, everything I do. My yard, I love planting things. And my neighbors stop and go, "Oh, we just love what you're doing to your house." Really? So what can I do? I can give them some seeds from this, whatever they like. I'm making connection with that person. One day they might sell their house, and one day they
Hmm.
might think about me as their agent because they're going to know what I do. I'm going to tell them what I do, but I'm not going to go and push myself on them. But they're going to know, and I will send them some marketing and things like that. But I mean, you know, it's getting out there and being present.
Yeah,
I
that's
love it.
great because what you're really saying, it's a relational business.
Hmm.
And the thing is if you care for people and you're just there as a friend or talking to them, and you have this great energy about you, which is great because that also passes on to other people. And just handing that energy to someone is fantastic because we live in a world that just seems so negative, right? All the time, everyone is on this side or that side, and you're bad and you're bad. Where if you can just, hey, have a conversation, talk about flowers, talk about whatever it is, even if there's just weather, but
Yeah.
just being there for someone and just saying, hey, I care. And what I see you're doing is exactly that. And just like you say, getting out, going to the offices to me, like always like getting jet fuel. You get around
Hmm.
that positive energy, and then all of a sudden, boy, now I feel great. I'm out there to attack. And that's really it. So just getting around that and being positive, like you're doing, that's awesome. That's a great way to go. I think that's great advice.
There's nothing like water cooler talk. I mean,
Oh
it has
yeah.
Mhm.
got three people I've been working with. and they're just kicking the can still, but God, they're so close. Then you've got, you know, Patty Sue over here. She's got 3 in her contract. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm going too far. Okay, guys, I dig deeper into finding them what they're looking for, and like, and then I'm like, hey, I think we need to go see this house over here. I think it's time. And boom, next thing you know, you've got 4 under contract. You're beating her over there. But I would have done what she was doing because, you know, but I went to the office, rubbed elbows at the water cooler. And I found out that I need to like get my patoot in gear and, make it happen. That's
Yeah,
the mind. Yeah, make it happen. If you want something,
I
go get
love it. Make it happen. And you know
it.
what's interesting? Amongst this group right here, we know what a water cooler is. You talk to the folks that are in our office that are 20s, 30s, some of them in their 40s, have no clue what a water cooler is. And you just gave me another idea for some content because I'm going to use that in training some of our team. We have a coffee area right out here where everybody gathers, grab your coffee. That's our water cooler. And we fill our waters too. But most people today, the younger groups, they have no clue what that entails or what the benefits are from doing that, going there and talking with your colleagues, sharing best practices before everybody starts getting out on the road and on appointments and things. It's so valuable. It's wonderful.
My first office that I was ever at, it was so good. I mean, I start implementing. I thought about it yesterday, and with us talking water cooler talk, we used to do this thing, and it was on, I think it was on Fridays, and it was called Wine Down Fridays.
I like the sound of that.
I know.
Sounds really good. I like that too.
Our receptionist would come on the speaker and go, "Guess what time it is? It's Friday, and it's Wine Down Friday." And it was so fun because it was consistent. Consistent. That's a
Yeah.
big thing. It was consistent. So all the agents who were out in the field working, we would all like come back to the office. We could have stopped at Starbucks and written our offers, but
Yeah.
come back to the office and write our contracts in the bullpen and have a glass of wine. And it was kind of like it was fun because
Hmm.
you could talk about the day and the house and say, oh, I showed that house too. Oh my God, it smelled so bad. Like and if that was one of our agents in the office, it's like, hey, you need to do something about that smell in that house, like
Hmm.
kind of stuff. And that was that's that was that water cooler talk.
That's how fun. And the fact that that's so dear to your heart, those are things we just don't forget. Those are positive memories. They helped us all get where we are today, where we
Yeah.
can now share these good things with other people. And Katie, it's obvious that you have the mindset of a champion. You are a champion, and I'll tell you what, anybody that's a mom is already grandfathered in as a mom or as a champion. I mean, moms are champions from day one. You run the household, you take care of everything, you do 80 things at one time. So for you being a mom, for you being a tennis player, for you being an outstanding realtor, and a friend to all of your clients. You are a champion. And we're so happy to have you with us today. And, you know, we look forward to doing more things with you. I know as you go through your days, the weeks, and into the new year, you're going to find more success. And we want to hear that success. We're going to get you on again on the podcast. Would you do that with us again?
Yeah, I'd do that. Reuben, I can't talk. I'd love to take you to coffee.
That sounds great. I'm
Or
looking
meet.
forward to
Beautiful.
it. Even that
Beautiful.
that wind down one thing that you were talking about too. I don't mind whining a little bit.
I love it. Well,
Yeah,
you
my wife
both,
loves that too.
right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you on here. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, it was great. Thank you guys. All right.
you're welcome. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes.